What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fifth Stand. I forgot the name of this fucking shit. All right, three, two. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fifth Stand. My name's Jose,
My name is Otis.
and we just watched the annihilation of Iran. Uh, that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry. By England, 6-2 in the second match day of the World Cup. Goals from Bellingham, uh, two from Saka, one from Sterling, Rashford, and Grealish. Now, in all respect to Iran, Taremi had a fantastic goal and then a penalty right at the death to at least try and save some dignity. Now, what this really has caused is a lot of conversation about England and whether it's coming home. Realistically, England have a really good squad. They've been hampered by a manager who, love him or hate him, knows how to keep the team in a tournament, and that's by parking the bus every chance he gets. So I think that's why a lot of people have been counting England out when we're talking about quarterfinals, semifinals, and a final of the World Cup. They haven't won it since '66. What we saw today was really surprising. They lined up in a back four as opposed to the five they usually do. And I think if they keep going like that, it could get interesting enough to at least publish this video.
Definitely. I mean, I think we all kind of saw the lineup that at least the Twitter tacticos, have been begging Southgate to play for the past year or so. Maybe, obviously, with the exception of like not having Reece James there, and I know some people don't necessarily want Mount in the starting 11, but it was a strong starting 11, and they looked fantastic. I'll be honest. I mean, Ron was poor. Credit where credit is due. England looked really good. And it's surprising that England scores 6 goals and Harry Kane isn't among the goal scorers.
Definitely. And it's worth calling out that, yes, Iran were poor. But this is also an Iran side that, correct me if I'm wrong, finished top of their qualifying group. And they've made it to three successive major tournaments. So this is a good Iran side. Um, was it more Iran not showing up for the moment or England making them look like scrubs? Quite frankly, I think Iran probably mentally weren't quite in it, especially after they lost their goalkeeper early on to a terrible injury. Dude's nose was busted up like a MMA fighter, honestly. Um, but yeah, England did look really good. Would they be able to do this against a Belgium, Netherlands? Probably not. But what they've shown is they do have more creativity, specifically with this formation, than I think a lot of people, especially myself. I did not give them that credit. Um, I see Foden as a superior player to Mount in this fold in that 8/10 hybrid role. Um, no shade on Mason Mount. I think he's a great player, and I think he does fantastic things. But Foden is a more consistent scorer and a more consistent creator. I think what Mount has over Foden is just the unpredictability. I think the same way a lot of people talked about in Aaron Ramsey back in the day. Mount just has a knack for popping up late in the box. It's probably the easiest way to say it. And that's great and all, and I know Gareth Southgate trusts him, but if you put Foden in that front four, I think you can take on any team on their day.
100%. They can cook with Foden in there. Yeah, again, I'm not trying to disrespect Mount. I don't want anyone to think that, but Foden is better technically than Mount. If I had to choose a player to turn into open space and run at a defense with make the right pass, I'd probably pick Foden 9 times out of 10 over Mount. Um, that being said, I just want to touch on the midfield a little bit. Jude Bellingham, fantastic, especially to only be 19.
Amazing.
And then also Declan Rice was fantastic. I know he's not a youngster anymore. What is he, like 23 now? But he was really, really good. So I think if you had a midfield of Rice, Bellingham, Foden, with the front line of Sterling, Kane, Saka, who is was fantastic today as well. And I know you that probably have a lot to say about your boy, but I think, like you said, that could probably take on just about any team
D-
in this competition.
does Bukayo Saka move you?
So there's a running joke. because Bukayo Saka is a very good player, and I obviously acknowledge that. But he doesn't like get me on the edge of my seat like other players do, and because of that, I anytime he scores or anytime he does something fantastic, I get ridiculed. Rightly so, probably. But the first goal moved me definitely. I'll tell you that much. It was a fantastic strike from Saka.
Good, good. And on the topic of England's midfield, I think that's where they can either make a deep run, make it to a semifinal, or crash and burn. Because I think Rice, Bellingham, and Mount was frankly a great three to have. I think they can improve by having a Foden. But what we can't see at this point, having seen what we saw today, we can't see Gareth Southgate putting Calvin Phillips for a Jude Bellingham against one of the bigger opposition. No disrespect to Iran. We can't see England revert to form, or revert to type rather, and play defensive, because it's obvious that the back five that I guess we'll get onto now is strong, even with Harry Maguire. And Harry Maguire, I hope he's okay. It seems like he had a concussion, so that back five might just get stronger without him. So you got to let these players play. And I know it's a tournament. I know the biggest tactic in tournaments is just to stay in the game. Get it to extra time, get it to pens, and then we'll see what happens. But this England team is built to attack. Even Declan Rice,
Uh,
like you said, is just fantastic.
100%. And I think a couple of things. One, whenever Harry Maguire pulls on an England shirt,
He's great.
he turns into a completely different player. Uh, Also, his partner in crime for this game, John Stones, fantastic today. They call him the Barnsley Beckenbauer for a reason. He was absolutely fantastic.
Not for that
Luke
penalty.
Shaw,
Sorry, I had to.
what penalty?
Oh,
It was
word.
ours. Luke Shaw was good. Kieran Trippier, fantastic as well. Um, Jordan Pickford, I think he made one or two really good saves in the game as well. So, like you said, the back line is solid. The midfield, at least
it
having
it's up to Gareth
right,
Southgate.
exactly having Rice and Bellingham as your like four there, and then you could put Foden, Mount, or even James Madison whenever he gets
Yep.
up to full fitness into that role. Then the front line, they've England have a plethora of attacking talent, and so if Gareth Southgate actually uses them to the best of their abilities,
Well,
no reason why England can't score 3-4 goals every game.
agreed, 100%. And let's get onto that front line, because there were a lot of concerns when it was announced that Sterling was starting ahead of Foden. Do you think this front three of Saka, Sterling, Kane is the best that England have?
The best, uh,
I'll
I
define the
mean,
best. I'll define best. Best not as in individual players, but as a cohesive group in a tournament like the World Cup. Is this the best three that they can put out? I'll give you my answer. Yes, because I think Foden is a better player than Sterling. I think Jack Grealish is in better form than Sterling. I think Sterling for England has the Harry Maguire for England effect. And, he's involved in a goal and assist here. Players internationally can't stop him for whatever reason. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. Jack came off the bench, got a goal. Marcus Rashford came off the bench, got a goal, and Foden was in everything when he got on the field. But if Sterling is working and the players around him are performing well, there's no reason to hook him. As crazy as
yeah,
it sounds.
I see your point. Yeah, I think coming into this before the game, if you were to ask me based on the form from this season, I'd probably say Sterling shouldn't start, but he will because Southgate has his favorites and he plays them. We all know this. It's just how it is. But during this game, you could see that Sterling and Kane had a decent link up. And speaking on Kane a bit, he did a lot more creatively, like trying to create chances than he did being on the end of chances. I don't know if that was something that they worked on, if that was deliberate, or if it's just something that kind of happened based on the way Iran set up to defend. But um, you know, Spurs fans try to tell us all the time Harry Kane is the complete striker because not only is he super clinical, and score lots of goals, but the way and the amount that he creates and what he does off the ball as well. And I think that was truly on display during this game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. And, um, you've got Luke Shaw in at left back, and he's England's number one left back, love it or not. He's just there. And he's got a lot of experience playing with Sterling. So there is a lot of chemistry there. And I think in international play, it's worth calling out the benefit of experience. I think Aaron Ramsdale is in better form and a better keeper than Jordan Pickford is, evidenced on the most clean sheets and um, other stats of the Premier League. Just I think Ramsdale has been having a better season, but this England back four is more comfortable with Pickford, and Pickford is completely comfortable being a vocal leader because he has to be for an Everton side the last few years that have been very up and down defensively. So I see why Sterling plays, and you asked me a week ago, I probably would have said Foden or Jack should start, um, but they pay Southgate the bucks. Now, one last thing I wanted to stop on, and kind of the crux of this video: how far can England go? We've talked about our predictions already on this video. Go check out our World Cup predictions. On this channel. um, I have my most recent bracket made before the World Cup: England beating Senegal, losing to Denmark, and then Denmark and Belgium in the semifinal. I can see this England side beating Senegal. I can see this England side beating Denmark. The back four that we saw. So can they make it to a semifinal?
I'll be honest. They if they played like the way they did today, they could beat Belgium. That may be crazy to say, but just imagine what we just said: Sterling, Saka, Kane, Odin, Bellingham
Against
running
Vertonghen
at
and Alderweireld.
exactly running at what are they? They got to be in their late 30s now, right? Mid to late
33
30s.
and 35. Yep. And we called
You know,
this out in our predictions. Both of us felt a little ridiculous for having Belgium in the final. One of us more so than.
yeah,
You know what?
okay, but
We'll
listen,
talk about it later. Hey,
that's not that wasn't down to their ability to defend. That was simply down to one specific player
and you
who
can check that
is
out in the other video. Go watch
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it. But what that brings us up to is okay. Well, they can make the World Cup final. So can they beat Argentina or Brazil? Can they compete with them for 90 minutes? And based on this performance, you gotta say yes. But but you saw even in this game, Maguire and Stones had a few shaky moments. Trippier, if he gets injured, like he almost did this game, is Kyle Walker ready to step in? Are they brave enough to put in Ben White? Can Luke Shaw stay consistent? I think it really comes down to this back line when we start talking about a deep run against the heaviest hitters in Argentina and Brazil. I mean, their attacking talent is just ridiculous.
Yeah. So I just want to ask you something because you started talking about the depth that England have at right back with Kyle Walker, who's not 100% fit, but he's still with the squad, as well as a Ben White who can play both right back and center back. You didn't even mention Alexander Arnold.
Oh, man, I'll be honest, I didn't even think about him. That was completely unintentional. I just didn't think about him. Um, I fear for Trent and his place in this England squad so long as Southgate is manager, because what we've seen Trippier be so good at this year is defend and create from deep. Trent can create from deep like no other right back in the world. But can he defend the way Southgate would want in an international tournament? And I think we know the answer because Trent is starting. I don't think that's down to form. I think that's a tactical decision.
So do you think how many minutes do you think Trent gets in this tournament then? I know we've kind of gone a little bit off topic, but I'm just curious because England have such a wealth of depth at right back. You know, if it's not Trippier, it's not Walker, then it's Ben White. Like, so how many minutes do you think he gets?
Great question. I don't see him starting. I could see him starting one group stage game. Let's say they win against the U.S. I can see him starting the last game once everything's already secured and they've qualified. And if he performs out of his mind, has 3 assists, then he'll keep starting. But if not, I don't see him doing anything other than a bench appearance. And if anything, that would once Kyle Walker is back, I think he's in over him. Um, so yeah, I see
I
this being a very limited tournament for Trent.
I wonder once Walker's back, I wonder if then Southgate will go back to a back three, have Walker, Stones, McGuire.
Frankly, I hope not. Because I think this is just holding this team back. This team is good enough. You have the midfield personnel, which perhaps you didn't have at the same level at the Euros when you relied more on a Henderson, on a Calvin Phillips. No disrespect to them, specifically Calvin Phillips. He's a great player. Henderson's just a little bit past it. But you have depth in these midfield and attacking areas. And these are reliable players that perform for their clubs week in, week out, both offensively and defensively. And when you have a player like Saka specifically, and I want to single him out because he kind of broke through as a left back just because that's where he could get minutes, but he's got a lot of experience defending. He leads the most successful press statistically in the Premier League this season. He can do the defensive job that Trent might not do as a right back. So when you have these personnel, these hardworking players, there's no reason to play a 5-back when you have this talent.
No, I agree with you. I think playing a three at the back definitely holds him back. And we saw that today. They play it four at the back. They scored 6 goals.
If it were me, I would start Trent until Kyle Walker is healthy. No disrespect to Trippier, because he's also been putting in some dimes this year. But
I fully disagree.
I just
man.
man.
I think obviously nobody has the attacking output that Trent has. That's obvious. However, I think the trade-off defensively is too big, especially in the group stage when we weren't really sure what was going to happen. It was the first game. You need to win this game. I think if you stick with Trippier you're more solid at the back. Won't get as much, but he still creates, and he's also
100%.
He's also fantastic at set pieces. And then also you get the experience component as well.
Yeah, and if we're saying strictly on merit, Trippier gets in over Trent, absolutely. And I can't really fight back against an argument to have Trippier starting, and maybe that says that all. But I just find it ridiculous that we're not utilizing Trent somewhere in this hypothetical situation.
Does Trent even have an assist this season?
I have no idea, but I'm down to shit on Liverpool.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to, you know what I mean? Let me look real quick. I don't know if he does. I could be dead wrong. And
No, it's okay.
You guys will eat me up in the comments, but let me look.
He has 1 goal, 0 assists in the Premier League.
Yeah. Okay. So we talk about his attacking output. 1 goal, 0 assists. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. I'll hold the L. I understand. If anything, it just speaks to how good of a squad this is. We'll see what Gareth Southgate does, but quite frankly, this is probably the dreamland scenario that he would have wanted. And most importantly, if he makes this decision, just stick with it. So long as it's working, stick with it. This isn't the time to tinker around. You had all of qualifying when you were drawing and losing games to figure it out. And perhaps he did figure it out. So we'll see what happens. But I'd love to hear the discussion in the comments below. We will be responding to every comment because, quite frankly, we have 9 subscribers. It'd be great to have a comment. But that's all we got for now. We'll be posting more videos with more content about the World Cup. My name's Jose.
My name's Otis.
And this is the 5th stand?
Yes.
I'm going to cut that. I keep forgetting the name of this freaking channel. We've done this at least 7 times now.
You just take a little sticky note and just put the name of it on there and just have it up on your computer.
I need that. Like Ted Lasso's little Believe. Actually, exactly. It's even the same color as that. So, yeah. That's a video. I have nothing else to say.
All right, cool.
Is
that it? Are we done?
I don't know. Are we?
Yeah. I mean, we have nothing else to talk about.
Okay. I mean, we can keep talking. I have things to talk about. How was your day?
I watched a bunch of soccer, so
Okay, that's a
fantastic.
perfect cutoff spot.